Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the introductory session of Diwali Hackathon, which is an initiative of Reskilll in collaboration with Spark AI. At Diwali Hackathon, the participants are getting an opportunity to learn about Spark AI Studio and utilize its tools to create their assets that will light up the faces with joyful Diwali effects. It is an empowering experience that aims at providing free-flowing experience to creativity and unleash the spark within. So, without any further delay, I would like to invite our guest speaker for today, Mr. Deepak Kumar. He is the head of creative at Cora. Deepak is a living Venn diagram of a writer, cyclist, creative director, and a problem solver. He brings in more than 14 years of experience in building platform agnostic ideas that have not just built brands but garnered love across festival showcases like New York, Dubai, Links, AdFX, Spikes, and Abbeys. So over to you, Deepak.
Thank you. Thanks, Edgar, for this lovely introduction. I mean, I've never felt so good about myself. It's a great introduction. I think we could start now. Let me try to share my screen. I cannot see anybody else. So is that how the interface works?
Yeah, this is going live, and people are watching you on YouTube.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, I've never gone live on YouTube. So, okay. So, thank you guys for everyone who's joined in. I'm not going to bore you much with a lot of gyan. I'll try to keep it as short and quick as possible. I know most of you must have had lunch right now, so let's just try to make it as interesting as possible. I'm going to share my screen. I hope you guys can. Asgar, if you can give me a thumbs up. I can say that you can see my screen. That'll be great. Can you
Yes,
see
we
my
can.
screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to start off now. Thank you everyone again, for joining in. And it's interesting to see that lots and lots of people, lots and lots of youngsters today are interested in all the new sort of technology which is actually coming up every now and then. And augmented reality, trust me, is one of the best things which has happened in the world of technology. So the next few slides. We'll try to keep it as immersive as possible. I would like to show you work rather than really talk about work. What has been happening around the world, how brands have been using augmented reality, and I'm sure most of you must have been using, augmented reality to kind of apply that in everyday affairs, especially on Instagram and creating filters. But what we are going to do today here is the next 20, 25 slides is we will talk about how when it comes to brands, when it comes to actual brands out there or commodities out there, how they're using augmented reality to actually, communicate with their consumers in a better way. So let's kickstart. I'm going to start off with this slide. I genuinely wish we could have augmented this scene a bit better. And I'm sure, I hope all of us have gotten over what happened day before yesterday. And this is what augmented reality really allows you to do. It allows you to really control things. This unfortunately was something which was out of control for a lot of us. So to kickstart, I'm sure all of you remember this, right? I don't know how many of you have played this game of Pokemon Go, which the country had gone berserk with this game, especially back in the days, like some 6, 7 years back or 5 years back. Everybody on planet Earth literally was playing Pokemon Go, and why it was interesting back in those days was because here was a game which allowed you to manifest characters literally in real life. Usually till that day, characters, cartoons, games were always, there was always just one interface where I could just see characters. But over here, I could literally manifest them on any platform, and that was the most interesting bit about the game, and that's how it really caught on to a lot of attention across the country. Now, the kind of world we are living in my opinion, we live in two worlds, right? All of us, irrespective of what city you're living in, what age group you belong to. We live in two different worlds. One is, of course, the physical world we live in. all of us right now in whatever environments we are sitting in right now, accessing our laptops. We love stepping out. We love going to shopping malls, visiting stores. This whole experience of touch and feel, which all of us like, right? I mean, that's how humans are. The second world, which is in a very ironical way, is part of the first world itself, is the digital world, right? All of us also have this so-called virtual identities online. Constantly buying stuff online on mobile apps. On we have our existence on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, for that matter. Even we are looking at different websites, consuming content on different platforms. So in a way, we are living two lives every day. I mean, there is the physical world, and of course there is the digital world, and that's how it's always been. But then, unfortunately, what happened, last year, the pandemic happened, and suddenly the world came to a standstill. We just couldn't step out, and over a period of time, as humans, we realized that, what, we could actually do a lot of things without even stepping out. Till that day, I remember, back in April last year or February last year, when my office had stopped and I was not meeting my colleagues and my team, I was wondering, how do I actually get work done? How do I meet people? How do I shop? How do I step out and not buy groceries? And how is it possible to do all of these things just sitting at home? Suddenly, there was a realization that, okay, I don't need to step out. I can sit at home. I can still continue to do a lot of things. I can shop. I can not just shop. I can try new things. I can try my favorite shoe also. I can buy groceries lying on my couch, watching Netflix without even worrying about stepping out. And this is when, lots and lots of brands kind of realize that the two worlds we were existing in, all of us, the physical world and the digital world, uh, could actually merge together. And what brands really realize, and to be honest, this had been happening for a while, but last year actually it just stepped up the speed in what in branding terms we call phygital. Phygital is a mix of physical as well as the digital world, and augmented reality has really helped in marrying both these worlds beautifully. The physical world and the digital world. So what is unique about the physical world is, as humans, we like touching and feeling products, right? I mean, I go to a shop, I go to a shoe store, I would like to lift the shoe, try it on, try different sizes, and that's the reason I actually go to the store. There was a time, say a year back, 2 years back, I would always be buying. So all of us would have bought stuff on Mintra, on other e-com apps as well, but I could never literally try that shoe. I wouldn't know whether that shoe really fits me or not. And then what augmented reality has really done is it augments the reality we've all been living in, which was holding a shoe or trying it on. So it's married physical and digital world in a beautiful way. And what has really happened the last 1 year is brands across different categories, and I'm talking about fashion brands, and I'm talking about FMCG brands, I'm talking about automobile brands. All of them have realized that probably I don't need to create a physical touch point for me to really converse with my audience or my consumers. Augmented reality allows you to bridge that gap. Augmented reality allows you to bridge that gap in a very seamless way, and make consumer transactions so seamless that you don't even feel that you are stepping out. You don't even feel that you are not at the store. So if you remember, say a year back, year and a half back, or 2 years back, if you had to actually buy a new pair of shoes, what would you do? You'll actually walk into a store, try the new pair of shoes, nahi fit aaya, and then probably you will decide whether you should buy or not buy. And there was a time you'll actually open Mintra app and you'll check out certain shoes, and you will be, wondering, oh, this doesn't fit me. I'm a little confused. Should I buy this or not? And probably you'll not decide to buy it. Last year, what a lot of brands across categories did was they actually bridged that gap, and they made sure that consumer transactions, and when I say consumer transaction, it means that this indecisiveness which a consumer would have, should I buy it, should I try it, can I check it out, problems about or queries and questions about the product, they actually use augmented reality to actually bridge that gap in a beautiful way. And that's what has really happened in the last, I would say, last 1.5 years since the pandemic. Brands across the world have realized the power of augmented reality. And it's not that augmented reality didn't exist, before last year. Yes, it's been years. It's been existing in the market, but last year actually gave it a big boost because people realized that they don't need to step out, but still they can, touch and feel and consume products without even taking the trouble of stepping out. uh, Now, a couple of numbers here. I'm sure some of you might know about this. Some of you are part of this number. They say that right now they're close to 800 million augmented reality users today, and that's a massive number that's growing as we speak. What's more interesting about augmented reality when it comes to brands, and the study says that uh, any content piece which involves augmented reality is 4 times more engaging than a regular mobile video content. So imagine when you compare it to a regular video film which you're watching on your mobile, an augmented reality experience is 4 times more engaging. And the most beautiful part about augmented reality is that study says and research says that it has 70%, brands have 70% better recall when it comes to augmented reality content, comparing it to non-augmented reality content. So whichever piece they create, now that could be a filter, that could be a web app, that could be any other content piece which they're creating, anything which involves augmented reality has chances of giving the brand 70% more better recall than any other brand which is using non-augmented reality content. Now, these are interesting times which we're living in, and interesting numbers clearly shows that augmented reality is here to stay, and it's extremely powerful. And I would say, it's super powerful. How are brands really using augmented reality? Interesting conversation, because a lot of us must be using AR, in different forms. Now, what I've done is I'll show you some examples of how AR is being used by brands. Broadly, I would kind of filter and structure it into 4 different buckets. The first bucket is called brand storytelling, where a brand can actually use AR to create a very interactive storytelling concept where the brand can actually get the consumer or the audience to do something with the product and react and be part of a certain narrative or a storyline. That's the first one. The second one, I'm sure a lot of you must be familiar with this, is called lenses and filters. More and more brands are trying that every day, especially on different platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, even TikTok tried it in the middle. And then it comes to products, where what brands today are doing are they're actually making sure that they're creating 3D renders of their products so that products can be seen, can be explored absolutely in the virtual space without even stepping out. And the fourth part, which is the most interesting part, is location based. That gone are the days where you and me today need to really worry about stepping out, or for that matter, worrying about going to a shop and checking out a product. Everything can be done in house. So I'm going to take you through some examples, how some beautiful examples of how brands successfully around the world have done that. Uh, Second.
Deepak, you are on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yes,
You
you
are
are.
audible now.
Okay. All right. Okay. Uh, Sorry for that bummer. Okay. So, all of us must have loved burgers and still love burgers. And I'm sure you must have heard about this brand called Burger King. Now, just see how Burger King used AR in a very interesting way to actually take down its competition. Take a look at this video.
find it always close to you hurt. When we are together, you thinking of another one. Why you put me through this hell? You got fired for somebody else. Baby, I'd work for you. I would do anything. But I'll still all you have to do to let me be okay. Why you put me through this hell? You got fired for somebody else.
So very interesting example of how you can actually take your competition's case without even doing much about it. So great example of how Burger King did that. What they did was in their existing Burger King app, they created a AR functionality where every time you actually see any competition ad, now that could be McDonald's, that could be Wendy's, all you have to do is scan that ad, and every time you actually see that ad, what AR would do or what the tech would do is actually burn that ad. And every ad you burn, you actually get points which you can redeem for a free Burger King Whopper. So now this is a very interesting example of how brands are using AR to create an interesting narrative, and they're getting consumers to actually react and be part of action. If you remember, there was a time when all of us used to watch a lot of television, a lot of cable television for that matter. But messaging was always one-sided, right? You'll watch a TV ad. There's not much you can do about it. You just need to watch it. But now the communication between a brand and a consumer has become so immersive and so interactive that while here is a brand which is trying to talk to you, the consumer also is taking an action here and being part of a beautiful brand narrative. So this is an example of how AR can be used in an interesting way to talk about, and become part of brand narratives. Um, this is another example of how IKEA, one of the biggest furniture brands in the world, has used AR in a very interesting way.
Hey, IKEA would like everyone to know about Place, our new augmented reality app. Built on Apple's new AR kit, you can easily place true to scale 3D models of IKEA furniture in your place. Scan, browse, select, move, and place. So that could mean less of this and less of this, and probably more of this. We want to make it easier for people everywhere to imagine a better place. Share this place and this place. Try place in your place.
Now, see how a brand has very smartly used technology, AR, which is available for everyone, to actually solve a consumer problem. People like you and me today have massive furniture issues, right? I don't know where to place my table. I don't have space. I have to drag and push my furniture to actually check that out. Now, IKEA, kind of figured that consumer problem or the problem which exists in the market, and use AR to actually solve such a typical consumer problem which everybody faces every day, by making sure that they could augment furniture existing on their brochure, and you could you can make sure that you could try that out without even buying that. Brilliant use of augmented reality in a everyday affair, and making sure that your products are part of that. um, the second bucket is lenses and filters, and I'm sure all of us have been using lots and lots of lenses and filters. I open Instagram every day, and I can see every second photograph, every second post which is out there is one of my friends trying out a new filter. So brands have been massively using lenses and filters. To name a few, H&M in India, Dior, Puma, all these brands, especially brands from the category of lifestyle and fashion, have been using it very interestingly. But the example I'm going to show you, I'm sure some of you must have seen the movie. A lot of movies are also using augmented reality in an interesting way. And then how they do it is, you have a tech available, but what is interesting about a certain movie, imagine here, the example I'm going to show you is from the movie called Sanju. And this is what they did to actually promote the movie Sanju.
One man, many lives, one filter, many uses. Try it now.
Now, interesting thing which filters really allow you to do is you can actually become part of that character. It could be movie on Sanjay Dutt, it could be a movie on Gandhi, it could be a movie on Bhagat Singh. It's in a way it actually pushes and promotes the film in a very very interesting way that you are as a consumer, as a viewer, you are able to become part of that avatar without even being that avatar, right? So this is just an example how movies are doing that, but lots and lots of brands around the country have been using filters in absolutely interesting ways. Another example, and this is a little older example of how Sephora, which is a beauty brand, used AR to actually solve a typical consumer problem, which is how do I try on makeup without even trying on makeup? uh, Again, an interesting use of AR where I'm sure some of you must have visited makeup stores and there is massive rush over there. And then you want to try out different products and you don't want to try them because it makes you look very weird. Using augmented reality to solve a consumer problem, that's very, very important for us to remember, is that brands use technology, could be augmented reality, could be virtual reality. The first thing to be done is to understand the problem you're trying to solve. And it should always try to solve a problem with a beautiful experience. Um, the third bucket is products, right? Lots and lots of brands in India as well as the West, across the world, are using interesting ways in which they actually can make the product go beyond just a product experience. So we buy products every day, right? Could be a bread packet, could be a jam, could be a Pepsi, could be Coke, could be any beverage for that matter. You buy that bottle and you actually place it on a shelf or place it in the kitchen, and you just forget that once you've used it. But brands more and more are realizing that every product which they are selling can also become a mode of communication or interaction with the consumer. Now, here is a brand which has used just a typical wine bottle to actually converse with the audience. So this is a very famous wine brand called 19 Crimes, and how they actually use the bottle to talk about why it's called 19 Crimes, and the story behind the story of 19 Crimes.
Think that we have been nearly 9 years in this living tomb since our first arrest, and that it is impossible for mind or body to withstand the continual strain that is upon them. One or the other. Others, hero. But I call myself Michael Harrington.
Now, I'm sure you must have seen how beautifully they've managed to use AR to actually bring alive a regular physical bottle. You go back home, you will see there are millions and millions of bottles kept in your home, so many objects kept in your home. But what AR really allows you to do, and what brands have successfully managed to do today, is they're making sure that every time you're purchasing a product from us, it's not the end of a brand story. They're making sure that consumers are regularly conversing with their products, and buying a product, it's not the end of the transaction. You can continue to have conversations with the consumer even if he's not buying you again, right? So even a simple physical bottle can also become a mode of communication, and you can talk about so many things over there. You can talk about the brand history, you can talk about the bottle history. So in this case, this is a Jack Daniels bottle. Just see how actually they use the Jack Daniels bottle to tell an interesting story. I mean, you don't have a customer care representative standing next to that. There is no salesman, but even then, the bottle is talking to you, and that's the power of AR. That's what AR can actually do for brands today. Brands can, like I said, continuously talk to you about different things, talk to you about brand, talk to you about product, talk to you about the product history, ingredients, and merely by using AR. And all they need to do is turning a simple physical bottle into an interesting conversation starter. Now, this is an example from India itself. So sometimes, even products can be used to not just talk about products, but actually create an interesting experience as well. You can actually use the product to actually create a game, create an interaction with the consumer over there. So Fruity is just an example of that. The fourth and the last bucket is what I would say a lot of us today have experienced, is that we are experiencing and we're living in a very, very interesting time where we don't need to step out and do a lot of things, and all of that experience is available sitting at home, sitting on your couch, and you can literally touch and feel products without touching feeling products. And this is the fourth bucket, which I call location or physical stores. Lots and lots of brands across the world have made sure that even when you are not walking into the store, you can still see products, check them out. And even if you are walking to the store, you can actually interact with the products which are kept at the store itself. So I'm going to show you an example of this is Starbucks, and how Starbucks made sure that every time you actually walked into the store, you can actually use a typical Starbucks cup and interact with the product itself. So just check this out. A lot of us love coffee. You walk into a Starbucks coffee shop, you open the web app, and you scan the cup kept over there to see stuff like this.
Se puede usar la cámara posterior y tener diferentes tomas junto a la realidad aumentada. A Starbucks. Y junto a dicha frase 3D caen letras como si fueran partículas.
Now, what brands have managed to do successfully, especially a lot of offline brands, a lot of retail first brands like Starbucks, Bata, Nike, they're able to make sure that even their retail outlets, even their stores are not just stores where consumers are just buying products, but consumers actually interacting with the products kept over there. And they're using that to create games, to create quizzes, to create lots of interesting interactions where consumer can actually come back to the store again and again, not just for the product, but the experience he or she got over there. Now this is another example of how ASOS, which is a British brand, made sure that you can shop products without even stepping out. A lot of it, which Myntra does in India today. Now it's a typical e-com app. You choose the t-shirt or the trousers you like, tap on it, tap where you want to try it out, and you can place it, and then the model can actually stand right in front of you and show off the clothes which you are interested in. Now that's interesting, right? I mean, you're not looking at simple 2D images of clothes you want to buy. Now this could be a t-shirt, this could be a shirt, this could be shoes, this could be any accessory, but literally a model standing right in front of you, trying it out, and you could see it from all angles. Now, what it has really allowed brands to do today is making sure that your interaction with the product is not is not one sided, it's not just 2D. Brands in India like Lenskart, Framecart, they're making sure that you don't need to walk into an optical store to try new filters, to try new spectacles. You can try new spectacles sitting at home itself, and that's what AR has allowed brands to do, is to make sure that consumer interaction has gone to an absolute new level. It's become more interesting. It's not boring anymore. And trying out new products does not mean you are actually walking into a store. You can do that. There are limitations which a physical store also has, right? I mean, you walk into a store today, probably there might be space only for 200 pair of shoes. But what AR allows you to do, or what tech allows you to do really, is it allows you to try out thousands and thousands of options without worrying about physical space. So that, in my opinion, is the fourth interesting bucket, and that's how brands are using it. Now, this is Godrej Interior in India. Again, trying different products, looking at where the air conditioning fits without even going to a physical store. So those were some examples of how brands around the world are actually using AR to create very interesting consumer interactions. In my opinion, the best way to actually use augmented reality, or for that matter any technology which is available to all of us today, is keep it very, very simple. These are the four principles which I would like to follow. The first one, which is extremely important, is understanding the consumer. Who is she? Who is he? What does he want? What's the background? And what's the problem you're trying to solve, or the experience you're trying to create? It has to be something which comes from the consumer, not from your school of thought. You have to understand whom you're creating the experience for. Now, that could be a filter, that could be an AR story, it could be anything. But you have to remember that the consumer has to be understood really well, because what an 18-year-old today would want to do with his phone would be very different from what a 55-year-old would do with his phone. Physical limitations, the way he or she would use the phone. So understanding the consumer is absolutely important. The second point to be remember here is focus on the idea, not on tactic. Sometimes what we do is we try to make it visually so appealing that we forget the core idea. So make sure that you're focusing on the idea, the experience, and not the gimmick or not the tactic. The third point is try to give the consumer something new, and that's what brands are trying to do today. There are lots and lots of augmented reality filters available on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, but there are still brands trying to do something or the other. And the brands today are trying to give something new to the audience. So that could be a new shade, of your sunglasses. It could be a new color, or it could be a completely new way of trying a new cap or a hat, or probably a completely new color on your shirt. Try to focus on giving one little thing which is new to the consumer. The fourth one, which is I think all of us would agree with, is that try to make it memorable. And there has to be something about that experience where you've used AR, which makes it absolutely memorable for the person who is using that. Extremely important. Now, memorability could come from multiple reasons. It could be the way you've used AR. It could be the idea inbuilt in it. It could be the length and breadth of it, or it could, for that matter, be the mere interaction also, or the fact that it's not just single-sided, it's two-sided. So you're making sure that there is something which is absolutely memorable about the AR experience. And these are some ways in which brands today across India are using AR for, and some of the ways which you guys as well, who are trying AR to do and create things. You guys are creators, right? You guys are using AR to create new things every day and exploring possibilities of what technology can allow you to do. these are what brands doing. They are creating face filters, makeup filters, sometimes adding music and sound effects. Sometimes it could also be mini games. It could be making sure that you're using facial expressions to interact with a certain product, opening your mouth, head shake, head nod, smile, blink, and more. Or it could also be trying out new products. Lots of fashion brands are doing it today. Trying out hats, glasses, shirts, watches, shoes, or lots of furniture brands. They're replicating real world effects, like placing furniture without even actually holding that furniture. So these are couple of ways in which creators like you can actually use AR to create interaction experiences for brands. And I'm sure the possibilities are endless. There's so much you can do for so many brands out there, because remember, each and every brand operates in a different space, would like to create a different experience, and these are just this is just a taste of what those possibilities can be. um, and that's where I conclude. I hope you guys are not sleeping, and it was uh, an okay a session where I didn't put anybody to sleep. Um, if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer.
That was a great session. Thank you, Deepak.
You're welcome, very welcome, Asghar. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and as much as I liked making it. Uh,
I am sure they did.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So I will ship this deck to you, Asghar. You can make it available for everyone to kind of go through again. And it was an absolute pleasure to come here and show you some of the ways in which AR is actually creating ripples around the world. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time, and best of luck. And may your creativity keep shining. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak. So moving forward, we have Mr. Kshitij Saini for a hands-on training session on Spark AR. Kshitij is the associate developer at Reskilll. He will guide you on how to use Spark AR platform and how to build your AR effects using Spark AR Studio. Over to you, Kshitij.
Hello everyone, I am Kshitij here from the Reskill team. I am like SparkR developer and a C++ Python other developer as well. So today we will be starting with the basics of like AR, SparkR, how to build our own filters, and we will be looking further into that. So first of all, like as sir mentioned about the Spark AR, so Spark like AR thing, how AR market is trending, how different organizations are using AR for their development. So let us start from very basic of the AR thing, and let us start with Spark AR. Also, like we will be telling you about how to create Diwali AR, how to participate in Diwali Hackathon, what Diwali Hackathon is, what are the different prizes associated for Diwali Hackathon. So let us not waste time and let us start. And let me share my screen first. So I hope like my screen will be visible now. Okay. So let us start from the very beginning about Spark AR. So what SparkR is? SparkR is nothing. It is an AR platform that is devised for Windows and Mac devices. So SparkR is a platform which is based for Windows and Mac devices, and only Windows and Mac users can use the SparkR Studio for creating some of their own effects. Like it is a device for Windows and Mac based devices. But now there is an important point when it's come to consideration, like we can use the SparkR on Windows and Mac based devices, and we use them to create filters for mobile devices. So this is a two-way thing, that we create the effects on Windows and Mac, and we use the effects on some of the mobile devices. And continuing further, like, we can consider SparkAR to be as a Photoshop for AR. So we can consider it as a Photoshop for AR. Now coming further, and talking about some of the opportunities available, like, there are the Spark AR market, the AR market is very trending, as sir mentioned right now. So what are the opportunities available with the Spark AR, and what are the opportunities available with the AR if you continue to pursue AR? So there are various opportunities, like you can be a 3D artist, you can be a software designer, you can be a design architect, you can be a system validation engineer, and if you want to be in the core technical part about how AR is working and want to work at the backend, you can also work as a software developer in AR. And like, let us look at some of the trends about AR thing as well. As sir mentioned, like, the AR market is growing very like by leaps and bounds, and we can just see the numbers as well. Like, at the end of 2020, it was estimated there were a total of 598 million AR active devices. 598 million AR active devices, but it is projected to increase to 1.73 billion by 2024. So a in like increase from 598 million to 1.73 million is a very huge increase in itself, and we can say that our future with AR is completely secure, and we can just follow AR, and we can use the AR. So now let's see how to, like, download SparkAR, how to start building our own basic effects, and how to start using them. So what I will do, I will just go to Google, and I will write SparkAR download. And after writing SparkAR download, like, the first link will be for sparkar.facebook.com. I can go to the website, and there will be a download link there. As soon as it's open, so it is showing the download link, and I can use the download link to download and then further install the SparkAR Studio into your computer. Okay, so this was something about, like, SparkAR. Now let me open the SparkAR Studio, and let us see and feel the look and feel of the studio. So the studio is currently opening. Let us wait for a minute till it opens. So this is how, like, SparkAR Studio opens when we open the studio. So what happens now is that, like, this is the basic SparkAR Studio. Now we want to create our own effects, and we want to use it. So, like, before starting using the SparkAR Studio, I would like to, like, announce everyone that the SparkAR hackathon, the Diwali hackathon that is happening, has like 1300 USD associated with it, and thousand US dollars for the top winners, and other prizes for even other participant as well. And for every effect submission, we also have some of the prizes associated. So I would like to tell you everyone to submit your effect, to create your own effects. And in this session, what we will do, we will just start from the very basics about the studio, and further for the advanced version, I will be sharing some of the links with you, so you can go through the links, and you can also learn some of the advanced effects, and you can create your effect and submit them in the Diwali hackathon, so that you can avail the certificates and prizes from Facebook team. Okay, so let us continue. And for, like, if you face any queries at some point later, or if you are facing any queries, so you can ask in the comment section, or if you are facing any queries after the session, what you can do, you can just connect with me, and you can ask me the queries anytime. So I have also shared my LinkedIn profile in the comment section, and you can connect with me anytime. Now let us start with the with creating our own effect. So what we will do, we will create a new project. I will like, click new project button here, and a new project button. There will be multiple, like, subsections associated with the project, and we can choose any type of the project, be it a plane tracking, a target tracking, a face tracking, or a blank project. to understand like the basics and to understand how the things are working, we will be starting from the blank project only. So I will be clicking the blank project button. Now when I click the blank project button, a window will be popping up in a minute. It is taking its time to prepare the environment and setting it up. So a window will appear as soon as it loads completely. So this is how the SparkR window will appear, and this is the basic layout that will appear in every one of your devices. So now like you can start downloading and installing the SparkR Studio. Till then, like I will uh, just tell you something about the SparkR Studio, how the things are here, what are the different sections available in the SparkR Studio, and then after like 10 minutes, when you all have downloaded the SparkR Studio, we can start building our own effects. Okay, so let us like first look at different sections and the basics about the SparkR Studio. First of all, like this is the viewport or where my mouse is currently dragging. There is a matrix behind it, and it is a very huge matrix. So this matrix is like the viewport or also the working area, and here is only where we will be working on by creating our effect. And now let us look at some of the shortcuts associated with the like working area, which we will be using while creating our effect. So I will just show them to you right here, and then we'll type it in the comment section as well. Now as we see, the camera is like very little here and the working area is very little. So what I will do, I will just zoom into the screen, and to zoom in I will press Ctrl and Alt, and I will like drag from top to bottom. So dragging from top to bottom will zoom into the screen. So Ctrl plus Alt is for zooming in and zoom out. So Ctrl plus Alt for zoom, and like I have also attached it on top of the screen so that you can see that Control and Alt is for zooming. Now coming to the next shortcut is like Control, and like Control is for rotation. So this is how you can rotate and adjust it according to your requirement so that you can create your effects in an easy way. So like control is for rotation. I am also like pinning it in the chat. And now finally Alt, simply Alt, and I can drag it like anywhere. Sorry, I just use the control key. You can use Alt and I can use position it anywhere. So Alt is for adjustment, and I can adjust it here, and I can zoom in a bit more so that the section becomes clear to me. And you can like pre-position it according to you, how you want it to be. So that is on you, like how you are comfortable in creating the filter. And adjustment. So I have also shared the third shortcut in the comment section, and it is also visible on your screen. So you can use these to adjust your window working area. Now coming further, this here where like my mouse is currently and it is showing me a real-time simulation, and there are like multiple devices associated. You can use some of the iOS devices or Android devices here, and that is a viewport. That is a real-time simulation where we are actually seeing how our filter is going to be, how it is going to be visible after the filter is created completely. So that is where, and we can also like use any of the devices. A difference between each of the device will be simple, that it will only change the viewing area, it will only change the dimensions, and there will be nothing much different about the like simulation part. And I you can also, you all are requested to join the SparkR Facebook group so that you can also collaborate with other developers of SparkR, and you can have if you have any queries, you can just post it over there, and the link is visible in the comment section and on the screen as well. So you can just join the SparkR Reskill group as well. Okay, now let us like start with very basic, and this is the scene panel here. And in the scene panel, it contains everything that is to be displayed over in the working area. So everything to be displayed in working area should have an entry here in the scene panel, and you can consider the scene panel as just an index where everything to be displayed over here contains an entry. Now continuing further, let us add an object and let us start working with that. And suppose I am adding an object and I am adding a plane. So like I will click add object, I will click plane, and I will click insert. So what it will do, it will add a object, it will add a plane in between my screen, and the object is like dynamically placed, it is not moving, it is just a object. And I do not want a square which contains multiple smaller squares inside it. I do not want it in my image. So what is the sole purpose of plane? So plane provides us the functionality to add multiple things over it. Suppose I want to add an image, so I cannot add an image directly. What I need to do for that, I need to add a plane, and then on top of the plane I need to add the image. And like let us see, suppose this is the default position of the plane, and suppose I want to move it to the top right corner, or I want it to be placed at some other position. So what I can do, I will click on the plane from here in the scene panel. Then these arrows will appear, and I can use these arrow to reposition the plane wherever I want. So I can reposition the plane here. So this is going to be the position, new position of the plane. And like now this is a square plane, and suppose I want some of the rectangular plane. So what I will do, I will go to the resize panel. So this panel, the first panel on the top corner, top bottom top center, is the adjustment panel. Second panel is the rotation, and third panel is the resize panel. So I will go to the resize panel, and I will use these, but like now you can see the arrow have turned to boxes. So I will use these boxes to resize it. So I will just resize it to somewhat smaller, and to I will make it more like a rectangle. But now you see that the rectangle is outside the display area. So what I will do, I will just select the reposition, and I will reposition it accordingly, like wherever I want it to be. So I will just reposition it here, so that my box is completely visible in the screen. Okay. And like if you are facing any queries in between, you can just post them in the comment section, and we will definitely have a look at that. And you can start keeping your posting your queries, and I will just look at the queries when the topic ends. So now let us see, like this was the plane. I have selected the plane, but it is just it is just like a zebra crossing black and white lines, and I do not want it to be like this. So what I will do, I will associate a material with it. So I will click on material plus, and a new material will be associated with it. Now the material associated will be visible in the asset section. So asset section contains material 0. I will click on the material 0, and material 0 will have some of the different properties which will be visible in the right hand corner in the inspect panel. And we can use the inspect panel to inspect the element and change the properties associated with it. So what we are going to do, we are going to change the color. Suppose this is now white. It instead of the black and white boxes, it has now converted to white. I can use different colors. Suppose I want the box to be blue or red or purple. So you can choose a multiple. You can choose any color of your choice, or you it's suppose I wanted to be purple. So I have chosen purple. But now I think that the purple color is not fitting here, and I just want an image instead of a color. So what I can do, I can go to the texture section in the inspect menu, and I can just select the choose file option. So what I am going to do, I am clicking on choose file. And after clicking on choose file, you can choose any of the image that you want. Like suppose I want this image, I will click on the image, and the image will be displayed instead of the color. Like the image is displayed on the top. So this is how you add an image in the Spark Studio. Okay. So if you have any query till now, you can just keep posting in the comment section. Now looking further, suppose this is as this is some of the filter we are going to create, and as it is associated with the Diwali hackathon, so let us add something related to the Diwali hackathon. As like someone has also asked, the Saurabh Kumar has also asked to how to create a Diwali, so I am just associating something with the Diwali thing. So what we need like is a 3D model. Suppose I want to add a candle. So what we need to do, we need to create a 3D model of the candle and add that to the screen, and then use the 3D model. So there we need not to create the 3D model from the very beginning. What we need to do, we need to just like I need to add the model from the asset library in the Sparkia Studio. So I will go to the asset library here, which is present in the bottom left corner. I will go to the asset library. Asset library is a library which is provided by the Facebook, and it contains like multiple cool things like 3D objects, the music, the patch assets, the textures, the blocks, the packages, and color LUTs as well. So these are like multiple different things provided by the Facebook itself, and we need not to purchase them. All the objects available here are free of cost. Suppose like I want to add some of the candles. What I will do, I will search for the candle, and like there will be multiple candle objects. Like you can go to the 3D object, and I can click view all. There will be multiple objects associated. So what I am going to do, I am going to add a candle. Suppose you can choose any of the 3D objects from here. Suppose I want these candles, so I will click the candles, and I will click the import free button. Like this is going to be an free import, and it will not cost you anything. All the objects are free from in-app purchases. So what I'm going to do, I am going to click the import free button, and it will redirect you to a Facebook login page if you are using it for the first time, and if you are using it like again, so it will just download and a done button will be shown here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the done button, and I'm going to cut the studio. But even after adding the candles are not visible in my working area. And you can see the candles are visible as an asset. So to add the candle into the working area, what I will do, I will just click on the candle in the asset section. The candle will be selected, and I will drag and drop it between the focal distance and the ambient light. So here I will place the candles, and it will be rendered and will be visible to us in a minute. If you are using a system with higher graphic card, so the rendering will be a bit fast, or else it will take some time. Now like the candle is visible on the screen, but it is of very huge size. So what I need to do, I need to reduce the size. So I will go to the scale section in the right corner, and what I will do, I will just make one here written 100%, and you can use some of the decimal points for changing it to some of the lower like scale. So I will just scale it to 5% of the current size. So I will use 0.05 here, 0.05 here, and 0.05. So it will be just scaled to like 5% of the initial size of the object, and we can just resize it, replace it somewhere else, as it was a complete 3D model. So it is something different that we are using, but there are some models which do not contain the background, and let me add some such model as well. So what I'm going to do, I am searching for the candle again, and there is some model like these models are like without any background. So I can use these models as well. If you do not want a background, I can like import it, and it will be again visible in the asset section when it is downloaded. So let's wait for it some time to get completed. And like now it is downloaded, and I can add the low poly candle as well. I will go and drag it between the focal distance and ambient light, and like now this is a different candle. I can also resize it to like, so now you can see like this is a different and it does not contain any background. So the background thing and other things depend on us, like what we want, if we want the background to be visible or the background to not visible. So you can choose some of the different type of objects accordingly. And now suppose I want the candle to be positioned on the lower right corner, so I will just position it accordingly. And suppose if you want to remove some of the objects, so I want to remove these candle objects, so what I will do, I will select the candle object, I will just right click on it, and I will click the delete button. So the candle object is deleted from my AR model. And as this is a big object, I can also like resize it using the menu here. So I can just resize it like this as well. So it depends on like how we are going to use, and we can resize it in all of the direction. We can reposition it, or if you want to rotate it, the rotation option is also available in the rotate menu. And the rotate menu is present in where we can also rotate, like there are, this is visible, like we can also rotate like this as well, and in this section as well. So you can, that depends on you how you want to place the object, and you can use multiple functionalities available within the Spark Studio. Okay, so this was about how to add some of the 3D objects, how to add. Now let us see the last thing that we are going to teach about the basics of the Spark AR, and let us now see how the face tracking works, how to track some of the faces and how to associate some of the objects with the face tracking. So what we will do, I will click add object button, and there is a face tracker option available here. So I will click the face tracker and I will click the insert button. So when we click the insert button, a face tracker will be added, and you can see like there are multiple coordinates associated and they are moving in a when the face is moving. And now, like, as we want to associate some of the object with the face movement, these all were the static objects whose position is not changing, and now we want to add a object whose position is changing in accordance with the head movement. So what we will do is that we will just pause the video so that we are able to align the object very well. So there is a pause button available here, and we can pause the video to like align the object very well. And I can like add object, and suppose I want it to be some of the text, so I can choose 3D text or 2D text depending on what you want. And I will click insert, and like the 3D text is visible on the screen. To change the text that is visible here, I can use the typography which is available on the right corner. So I can use the typography, and suppose I want to say happy Diwali, so what I will say, I say happy Diwali, and happy Diwali will be visible here, and I can reposition it. Suppose like I have repositioned it on top of the head, and I will click the play button. The text is now also like it is also static text, and it is not even moving with the head movement. So what I am going to do, I am going to pause the video again, and I am going to associate it with the head movement. So to associate anything with the movement of some other thing, we need to add it as a subject in the parent class. So I will click the 3D text, and after clicking the 3D text, I am going to move it inside the face tracker. I am to select it. I am going to drag and drop it inside the face tracker so that it becomes like a new subsection appears on the face tracker, and a face tracker has 3D text as sub object. Now we can see like the position has also changed, so we can also reposition our text, and we when we click the play button, so the text will be moving in accordance with the head movement. And suppose this is last thing that we are going, and suppose if we want to change the color, so we can also change the color by associating different materials with it. As it is a 3D object, we can associate like multiple, like material 1, material 2, material 3 for 3 different dimensions. So I can choose different colors, and I can like, suppose I want the front to be of red color, pink color. You can choose the front color. You can also choose the side color. Suppose the side color I want is green, so I can choose the green side color. So now you can see when he tilts his face, you will see green on the sides, red on the like, and We can also choose some of the back text color as well. So we can choose some of the back text color. We can also select a texture or pattern which we can also download from the text Spark AI library. You can see the asset library, and it also contains some of the textures. So you can also select some of the texture. Suppose I want it to be like I want the texture to be of a environment, so I can use also download and use the texture as well. Let us see how to use textures as well. So like I'll be downloading it and done. Now our texture is available, and we can also like select from the texture which is like is there like texture. Okay, you can like select from the multiple different textures, and all the textures will be here as well when it is completely rendered. So what you can do is like you can choose it according to like this thing, and you can select textures and multiple other things as well. Now after like creating your complete effect, what you need to do, you need to just publish your effect. So you need to click on the publish button here on top right corner. uh, I think that is hidden under the brand logo, so I will just remove brand logo for once. And you can see now it is visible on the top right corner. Or you can also like go from the file menu and click the publish button. It is same, and everything will be happening same, and you can publish your new effect. The textures will be compressed in a minute or few, and then you can click the upload button which is present here to upload your effect to the Facebook, and then you can fill the form on the Spark website for like for claiming your swags and for claiming other things. And there are swags associated with commission and the cash prize for the top three winners. Even the total cash prize is $13,000 US. So I think all of you learned how to basic effects, and you can start creating your effects. You can start creating your own filters. And if you face any queries in between, you can connect with me on my LinkedIn profile. I'm sharing the link in the like in the chat section, and I will also be uploading it in the video description. So feel free to connect, and after this is completed you can upload your effect. And the last date for the submission is like 28th October, so you all can submit your AR effects. For that you can what you have to do, you have to share the link which will be provided by the Facebook team, and you have to share the screenshot of the like this window where you have created your effect. So these are the two things that you need to do for submitting your effect. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, there is a question like, uh, what if the effect does not get published by 28th? So you need not to worry. The Facebook team will take at least like 7 days to approve, but you need to submit your effect before 28th. So that is why what we have done. You have to upload the screenshot as well, so that it is if it is under review, you need not to worry. You need to submit the screenshot of the Spark app window that I have currently opened, and you need to submit the view link. Even if it is under review, you can also share the view link, and we can view it by on our own, as we have like connected with the Facebook team. So that is not an issue with us. You have to just share the screenshot and the view link. We will connect with the team, and we will get your effect review if it is under review. No need to worry about it. And like you should all keep in mind that the last date for the submission is 28th October, so you can submit your AR before that. Can I make more than one submission? Yes, you can make multiple submissions, but only one submission will be considered. So what you can do, instead of making multiple submissions, you can just create like you can improve your effects and use the publish button, and you can update your existing effect. So what it will do, it will just update your existing effect with a better effect, and you can get the chance to win your like top prizes by updating your existing effect. You can do that, and or else you can make multiple submissions as well. Both the things are possible. Okay, so I think there are no more questions, so we can just end with the session. But be sure to submit your effect before 20th October so that you can get your certificates and goodies from Facebook. Thank you for joining us in this session.